What happens when a system built on wealth loses the trust of its own people? When a nation grows richer, but its people feel poorer? In 1979, Iran didn't just experience a revolution, it experienced a financial collapse of trust, a moment when money, power, and control slipped through the hands of a king and into the chaos of something entirely new. This is the story of how one of the richest oil nations on earth turned its back on its own system and changed the global economy forever. By the 1970s, Iran looked like a success story. Under Mohammad Reza Shah, the country was experiencing rapid modernization. Oil revenues were booming. Infrastructure projects were everywhere. Skyscrapers rose. Highways expanded. From the outside, Iran looked like the future of the Middle East. But beneath the surface, something was breaking. The Shah's vision was ambitious, turn Iran into a global economic power, and for a while, it worked. Oil money flooded the economy. Government spending exploded. Western companies poured in. But there was a problem. The wealth wasn't evenly distributed. Inflation surged. Living costs rose. Rural populations were left behind. And the gap between rich and poor became impossible to ignore. But economics wasn't the only issue. Political control tightened. The Shah ruled with authority, and dissent was not tolerated. Opposition voices were silenced. Criticism was suppressed. And as economic pressure increased, so did frustration. Because when people feel trapped financially, they don't just want change, they demand it. By the late 1970s, the tension exploded. Protests began spreading across cities. Students, workers, religious groups, different voices, united by one thing: discontent. What started as demonstrations quickly turned into a nationwide movement. The streets filled, the system shook, and for the first time, the Shah's power looked fragile. In the chaos, a new figure rose to prominence: Ruhollah Khomeini. From exile, his message spread rapidly. He didn't promise economic reform. He promised something deeper: a new system, a new identity, a complete break from the past. And as protests intensified, his influence grew stronger. In 1979, everything changed. The Shah left Iran, the monarchy collapsed, and a new Islamic republic was born. But revolutions don't just replace governments, they reset entire systems. Economic policies shifted, foreign relations transformed, global connections weakened. Iran didn't just change leadership, it changed direction. With the revolution came uncertainty, investments fled, markets destabilized, oil production was disrupted, the economy slowed. And for the people, the promise of change came with new challenges, because when systems collapse, they don't rebuild overnight. The 1979 revolution teaches a powerful lesson. Economies don't just run on money, they run on trust. Trust in leadership, trust in stability, trust in the future. When that trust breaks, no amount of wealth can hold a system together, and that pattern is still visible in economies around the world today. From this moment in history, three lessons stand out. Economic growth without equality creates instability. Political control can amplify financial pressure. Trust is the foundation of every economy. Iran didn't just experience a revolution, it revealed how fragile even powerful systems can be. But the story doesn't end here, because after the revolution came something even more challenging: isolation, sanctions, and a new kind of economic survival. If you want to understand how nations adapt under pressure, subscribe to Finance Club, because rule number one is to always talk about money.